Hariam everyone, welcome to this class on Kathopnishad. We'll start with the chanting first. I'll just share onto the screen. You can chant with me at your end. Om Sahna Bhavatu Sahnau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karva Vahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. ओम गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् ओम श्री महागणपतये नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Okay, so welcome to this class on Kathopnishad. We are approaching the end of the text. So this is a text which has 2 chapters with 3 sub-chapters each. दो अध्याय 3 वल्ली, प्रथम अध्याय 3 वल्ली, द्वितीय अध्याय 3 वल्ली. So we are into the final part, that is the third part of the second chapter, the third valli. So far, since we have had a bit of a gap, so we'll just refresh what we looked at. So earlier in the first few vallis, we saw that the story of Nachiketas was shown in the first chapter, first valli, and then slowly also we saw the addition of other parts of the teaching, as it started with the teaching of Atmagyanam. So initially the basis of Atmagyanam was taught, how the knowledge is, and of course preceding that the preparation, and the student was thoroughly tested by the teacher. So therefore that was also done. And then afterwards, towards the end of the chapter, the whole teaching is summarized. And in the second chapter, the teaching is gone into detail where the doubts are removed. All the doubts that were existing for the student that are possible to be existing, they were removed. And then this is the final chapter, final part. So till now here, we see that in the initial part, there was the preparation, the mental preparation, that adhikari, for the student to be the one capable of absorbing that knowledge. Now he has been given the knowledge. Now it involves a second level of mental preparation that involves absorbing this very, very deep knowledge so that it becomes a part of the student. So this is the nididhyasan, which we call it, the part where everything is repeated. The knowledge is also repeated, and also how to fix it in the mind, that portion is also enumerated. So we'll just glance through the first verses of this chapter, so you can just have a rough idea of what we have seen so far. So this is the first verse where it's the nature of Brahman was represented. Urdhvamolo avak shaka esho ashvat sanatanaha tadev shukram tad brahma tadev amritam uchyate tasmin loka shita sarve tadu na tyeti kaschana etad vaitat. So that the whole nature of the universe is like a banyan tree, which is having his roots in the subtle plane, and the tree itself is there in the manifest plane. So there the Brahman is said to be the base out of which the whole universe has come out or evolved, and therefore everything is situated within him only, nothing is beyond his grasp. So now, because he is the source of everything, in the second verse, yadidam kimcha jagat sarvam prana ejati nisritam mahadbhyam vajram Udyatam ya etad viduhu amritaha te bhavanti. So whatever is there in the world, it has come through him only. Because of him only, the life force moves in the world and everything obeys his laws. Mahadbhayam, because of his fear, that is according to his wishes, everything moves. And then the next Bhayadasya Agnitapati. So all the devtas, all the devtas from Agni to Indra, Vayu, they all, and including the teacher here, which is Yamadharmaraja, Mrityuhu, Dhavati, Panchama. So all the devtas, they obey him. So that means everything moves according to his wish. So, iha chet ashakat bodhum prak sharirasya visvasa tatah sargeshu lokeshu sharirvaya kalpate. So here all the bodies and all are said to be following his law and everything is coming out of him. That includes also not just this body, but Sargeshu Lokeshu, all the different lokas, all the different worlds. And then the importance of the knowledge, yatha adarshe tatha atmani, yatha swapne tatha pitriloke, yatha apsu pariv dadrishe tatha gandharvaloke chaya tapayoho iva brahmaloke. So this knowledge is available in Pitrilok also, it's available in Gandharvalok also, but there the knowledge is less clear. So it's most clear in the human birth, so Manushya Lok, and in the highest Brahmalok, where people go after the detailed upasanas. So if we have the most easy availability of this knowledge, it is in this Manushya Janma, provided we have the inclination towards it. Most people spend not hundreds, thousands, but billions of janmas not even touching close to this knowledge or even desiring this knowledge. So those who go for this knowledge are indeed very lucky. That is what the Shrutima says. And then Indriyanam Prithak Bhavam Udayo Tamayostayat Prithak Utpadyamanam Vatva na Shochati. Next begins the process which we have seen earlier also. The process that the person examines all the gross worlds and moves on to his essence there, which is the subtle Atma. So starts with the gross body, and then gross body is not mentioned here, but we start here with the sense organs, Indriyana. So seeing the Prithak Bhavam, seeing the different coming and going, or the appearing and disappearing of the sense organs, it is seen that they are all temporary. And so on, this is then extended to all the different levels from Indriyas to Manaha to the macro level, that is Mahat, and so on, finally unto Avyaktam, which is the nature, the pure nature. And then Avyaktattu Parapurusha. So final level is that consciousness, that infinite Brahman, that being through on which everything depends. So Yam Gyatva Muchyate Jantu, knowing that every being gets liberated. And Amritatvam Cha Gacchati, he moves on towards immortality. And then Na Sandrishe Tishtati Rupamasya Na Chakshusha Paschati Kaschanena Hida Manisha Manasa Abhikliptaha Ya Etad Viduhu Amritaha Te Bhavanti. So who become immortal once more in another step? It's given that this Brahman doesn't have any name or form. Na Sandrishe Tishtati Rupamasya, his form cannot be grasped by the eyes or even by the mind and intellect, and therefore he is beyond the sense organs and all the speech and mind. So when is that Brahman cognized? Yada panchavadishtante jnanani manasasaha buddhischa na vichestati tam ahu paramam gatim. This Brahman is known when the all the mind and intellect and the sense organs, they seize their movements, they seize all their thoughts, and in that moment of calm recollection, that nature of the Atma shines through when the teaching is again reinvigorated in the mind. Whenever the teaching is realized clearly in the mind, then suddenly the nature of this Atma shines through. And that is the state of yogam. Tam yogam iti manyante. That is the state of yoga. Sthiram indriya dharanam. All the sense organs have been stilled. And apramattada bhavati yogo hi prabhav apyaho. So in that state, the person becomes without any kind of disturbances, pramad rahit, and therefore this is yoga. But again, this yoga is prabhava apyaho. It can come and go. So this knowledge is given to us, but when we are out of the zone of this knowledge, when we are no longer listening to this knowledge, we tend to go back to our normal mental or physical routine, whichever we have been following. So therefore, now this is the verse we were looking at. So naiva vacha na manasa praptum shakyo na chakshushaha asti iti bruvatu anyatra katham tad uplabhyate. So this knowledge that is given here, it is not available by speech, na vacha, na manasa, which we have seen this thing, this thought we have seen earlier also. So this is not available in that manner, this knowledge, naiva vacha. So because of this, this knowledge, what is the form of this knowledge? Asti iti bruvato anyatra. It is available in the form of he exists. Asti iti, as pure existence. Katha anyatra katham tad uplabhyate. How can it ever be known to others? It cannot be known to anyone who does not think of it as existence. So anyone who finally, removes that name and form and removes that visualization, and then reaches a state of blankness, which is what we normally think. Because when we have removed all the objects of the universe, we will be left with blankness. So Shruti is firmly negating that this Atma can be in the form of non-existence. It is always in the form of existence. So that logic we saw slightly in the previous class. Also, we can see that if we have to understand this, it is in the form that what is being said here, that even though Atma is not available as an object of perception, we have to be very clear, it definitely exists. It definitely exists. Why? Because, the sense organs of knowledge, that is the Gyanendriya, then the sense organs of action, that is the Karmendriya, the mind and the intellect. The problem is they cannot make the self as an object. That is the problem. That is what we have to solve. So, then how do we solve it? We have to understand the self as existent. We should understand it as it exists. So those who don't know it in this manner, it is said here, they are deluded. Katham tad uplabhyate. So we think it is logical that objects of perception are real and what is not perceived is unreal. That is the common perception of all of us. Whatever we see before us, all these objects, they are real, and whatever is not perceived, that is whatever is not seen or felt by the remaining sense organs, that is unreal. So now the thing is, the self here is, it can never be an object. It can never be an object of perception. Why? Because it's a subject. It is a knower. And the knower is self-evident. So the self is not an object. Hence, it seems that it doesn't exist. It seems to us. This is negated here, that even if it is not perceived, it still exists. In fact, we will overturn the tables and we will say that whatever is perceived is not real. Whatever is perceived is just an appearance, because it will come and go with time. So whatever come and goes within time will also disappear with time. Okay. So like we saw the examples also, like for example, however much we try to see our eye, we cannot see the eye directly. But still we know that it exists. How? Because directly from the act of seeing, just because I am seeing something, that means the eye is there. Or like I gave the example of the camera. So just because the picture is being taken, that means the camera is there. We don't need to have a picture of the camera. So similarly, we also don't need to go to a mirror to verify, yeah, meri aankhein hain, do I have eyes? No, we don't need to do that. Right? So in the same way, existence is being perceived everywhere in the world. Everywhere in the world. Because everywhere in the world I see around me, I see existence. Every object, everything, there is an existence there. So which shows that there must be a cause of that. So the cause must also exist, right? Can you answer why? Anita, can you guess why?
Cosmos, sir?
Yeah, because cause cannot come out of, nothing can come out of non-existence, no? The
Yes.
cause cause also has to be existence. So that is the law of Vedanta. So nothing can come out of non-existence. Yeah. So this existence, or we have analyzed this Atma as, if you take the full scope of it, it's Satchit Anand Rupa, right? Satchit and Anand Rupa. And all of these, all these three aspects of the Atma are all available in the world. Hmm. So therefore, it is not possible. It is, we can never even visualize any existence coming out of non-existence, right? So therefore, just like if you see the mud is seen in the pot, mud is, so we know that the cause is mud. Even if it is not available as an object, Paramatma has to be accepted as existent, as he is perceived as existence in the world. Paramatma is the cause of everything. So there has to be a cause. So that cause has to be existence. Because he is perceived as existence in the world. Because it is well known that an existent thing has an existent cause. Nothing can come out of non-existence, right? So here Yamaraja is making Nachiketa aware that he should always accept the self as existence and never as non-existence. Right? That is his firm knowledge. So Upanishads state Brahman as the cause of the world, so its existence can never be negated. This is repeated again and again. Because, we all know that cause is inferred from the effect first. And once this is firmly known, then its unobjectification or subjectification can be inferred, right? First, we have to infer that it is existing. Then we can slowly move on to that existence is me. I am that existence. So if we, now there is sometimes some problem comes. So if we try to understand by negation first, then we might end up negating the cause itself. That is what I said earlier also. So we might end up negating the cause itself. Like the Buddhists, the Bodh, they saw the negation of worldly objects first. They saw negation. Hence they accept the cause also as being non-existent. They call it Shunya, which ended in what we call the Shunyavada. So existence is seen everywhere in the world, yet because of that logic, they did not move to the final cause as being existent. Because we saw if cause was non-existent, then everything would be perceived as not is. सब कुछ नहीं है की तरह जाना जाता. Everything would be perceived as not is, which doesn't ever happen. Everything is perceived as existence, right? So this is how this thought process should be taken forward, so that we can understand. So we'll just move on to the next verse. अस्तितेवोपलब्धव्यः तत्त्वभावेन चोभयोः अस्तितेवोपलब्धस्य तत्त्वभावः प्रसीदति. That's what अस्तितेत्वोपलब्धव्यः तत्त्वभावेन चोभयोः अस्तितेत्वोपलब्धव्यस्य तत्त्वभावः प्रसीदति. तत्त्वभावः प्रसीदति. So Asti iti uplabdhavya. This knowledge is perceived, or the self is perceived first as it exists. It should always be perceived as it exists. And then tattva bhavena cha ubhayo. Then it should be really seen in its essence. Tattva bhaven. What is the essence? That I myself am that Atma. I am. So first as some existence, and then it is me. Who is the real essence. So, and then out of these two, cha ubhayoho, out of these two, asti iti eva uplabdhavyasya. So when this asti iti, when this exists, it exists, is believed, iti uplabdhavasya, it is believed or accepted on faith. So Shraddha is very, very important here. Then finally, tattva bhavaha prasidati. Tattva bhavaha prasidati. So that it really becomes favorable to one. So therefore, this asti iti knowledge that is there, that has to be very, very firm. So when a person has faith, in the existence of this Nirguna Brahma, he starts using the expression Brahma Asti, and that has to be the important step. So Asti means it is there, which we have seen earlier also. And if it starts Vedant with this faith, if this person starts Vedant with this faith, that this Brahman is existent. In due course of the teaching, what will happen is that Brahman will be converted to Brahman am. I am that Brahman. Right? That is the Tattva Bhavena. So he begins with an idea that Brahman is a third person, something outside of me, some Lord, some God who's higher than me, who's bigger than me, like it is some object elsewhere. But as the teacher unfolds, as slowly the teacher unravels, he understands that Brahman is me itself. Brahman, I am. I am that Brahman. Why? Because there is only one sole reality, Advait. So I cannot separate myself from that. So I cannot make it dual. Me separate, that separate. So converting that isness to amness. Isness is existence to amness. I am owning up, which is again and again repeated in all the previous verses also as etad vaitad. That I am. So that Brahman I am. So converting that isness to amness is the journey. And when you say Brahma Asti, it is called Shraddha. Initially, because your teacher is only telling you, but slowly you will learn the logic, you learn the method. So then it becomes what you call my own knowledge. And that is called Paroksha Jnana. Initially it was Paroksha Jnanam. And now it becomes Aparoksha Jnanam. Paroksha Jnanam is knowledge of something outside of me. Aparoksha Jnanam is something that, knowledge of me, myself. Something that is separate, inseparable from myself. And that is called Aparoksha Jnanam. That is Brahma Asmi. I am that Brahman. Or here Yamadharma Raja is calling it as Tattva Bhavaha, meaning the real nature of Brahman. Tattva Bhava. That means the real nature. So being myself is the real nature of Brahman. So that Tattva Bhavaha or Aparoksha Jnanam or Aikyam becomes evident, right? We see that in a lot of whatever practices we use, even the mantras that we chant. So unless and until we have the understanding of the meaning, then we will not be able to reach that level which the mantras are guiding us, right? So like if you do Durga Shaptashati, the Tantra Sadhana, whatever. So what is the main mantra there? And you have any idea, Anita? When we do the Durga Saptati, what is the Devi Ma Bij mantra?
Devi is some.
Mm-hmm.
Bij mantra Sam. That is all.
Okay, yes, that is just the Devi's Bij mantra, but the full Devi mantra, Chandi part which is used, I'm Him Krim Chamundai Viche. You would have heard that, I think.
No, sir.
No, okay. So you can read Durga Shaptashati or when someone teaches. Actually, it needs initiation, but yes, you can always practice it in short. But that is the mantra with which you are supposed to meditate on the Devi Ma or Atma. So what is that? If it will be too detailed if we are going to the full one, but I'll just try to sum it in short. So that is again the example of the mantra that is to be used when I am realizing my true self. Initially, it seems like I am just invoking the Devi. I am Him Krim Chamundai Viche, that Chamunda Devi I am invoking. But when you look deeply, Bij mantra, every letter is magical. Every letter is magical. So if we look at the first, it is I'm. I plus dot on top, I'm. So what does that mean? That I stands for Atma, basically. So it stands for Atma. And the dot at top means the merging. So I'm basically means merging into the Atma. So when we look at the further we split it up, what does I mean? A plus E is equal to I. So that is I. So what does that mean? A represents if you remember from previous class about Om that we talked about, then A represents the whole manifest universe, right? Whenever we add A to any consonant, then only we can make it pronounceable. So if it is K, then we can't actually say K also. There has to be the A sound. So A is what manifests the whole visible world. So here in A plus E becomes I. So A represents the manifest universe. Then E represents the tattva that is pervading through everything. That is Ishvara tattva. E is Ishvara tattva. So E is Ishvara tattva. And is the world. World also means me. I am my body, my mind, my intellect. They all come within the world. So now I merge them. So when I merge them, they become one. Right? They become one. So a plus e becomes I. I represents the merger of the individual and the total. So when that merger happens, what happens? I represents Aikyam. Aikyam. So Aikyam represents the oneness that is achieved when Jiva and Ishvara Jiva realizes his true nature. So that is I. So then the ma at the dot at the top represents the merger, where these two never remain separate. It represents the culmination of this Aikyam. So how is this Aikyam to be achieved? I am Hrim. So ha plus Ri plus ma is Hrim. So ha represents Handhatu. To destroy, to remove all the objects. So to reach that Aikyam, I have to remove the shape of all the objects. This is here Tattva Bhava. To remove all the objects, to reach for that Tattva Bhava. So her represents to remove all that. Ra represents Ramati Sarvasmin. That which is there in every. So it represents the existence. Ra means Ram, Ramati. It represents the existence that is there in every object. So I have to remove all the objects and hold on to the existence which is given here. That we have to understand that Brahman as existence. And Ma again at the end means I have to keep merging the forms of all the beings and the objects around me into that existence. I have to merge. So I'm Reem. Then next, I'm Reem clean. So Ka, La and Ma. So Ka represents the Ka is come. Come means sukh or joy or ananda. So I have to reach for my, when I reach that existence, I reach see the existence as infinite. I see the existence as infinite. And whatever is infinite is Ananda Swarupa. So I have to reach for that Ananda Swarupa. Ka represents another factor, that is karma. I have to do sadhana. I have to do some action. So because of these actions, I will finally be able to purify my mind and grasp that knowledge. And that will be what we call the layam. So in kleem there is ka and then la. Right? So kleem, that la represents layam. I have to laya. And the ma also represents the final merger that happens when the process of laya is started. So I have to, with action or with sadhana, I have to merge my mind and intellect and remove their separateness into that Param Tattva. I'm Lim Klim Chamundaya. Chamundaya is Cha Amundaya. So that means Cha means or and. With what do I do that? Amundaya. Amundaya means without the head. Without head. So Amundaya means removing my ego. So I have to let go of my ego totally. I have to let go of my ego totally. So Amunda. Amundaya. Ya means representing, in one sense, it represents two words. It is the fourth case. So where Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So in that way, to that Guru, towards that Guru I surrender. So there, towards that Atma I surrender. But in another sense, Ya represents Yam. The control of my sense organs, control of all my thoughts, Yam, that represents Yam. So Chamundai, Viche. What will be the technique that I'll use? Which means, which dhatu means Vivek. I have to separate the real from the unreal. That is Vivek. So once that is done, then only I will be establishing the knowledge. So see how magical such a small mantra is. It conveys the whole journey of spirituality. Right? But when we chant it mindlessly, just without understanding Srima Guru, then what happens is the chant becomes just something that will purify my mind slowly, slowly, slowly. One day it will dawn on me. Right? But that will take more time. But when I learn it with the meaning, then it helps, right? So this is the same process here also in this mantra. So here, Brahma Asmi is not possible directly. You have to start with Brahma Asti. You have to start with the seeing Brahman as existence. So from Brahman Asti, initially we have no idea of Brahman. We don't even know there is any concept of something called Brahman. So from Brahman Asti to the knowledge given by the Guru, Brahma Asti, we have to go. But we can't jump. We can't jump to Brahma Asmi. That is not possible. So first we go from Brahmana Asti to Brahma Asti and then to Brahmasmi. So Asti iti eva uplabdhavsya, that is in the mantra. Asti iti eva uplabdhavsya. In the beginning stages, the Brahman has to be grasped as third person only. As Asti iti. So even though it is not, and you assume that it is a third person initially. Iti uplabdhavya. And thereafter what? Tattva bhavena cha. Tattva bhavena cha. Don't stop with that. Later you have to grasp in its real nature, in Tattva bhav. And what do you mean by Tattva bhava? Brahma asmi. So I'm repeating this because this is a very important part of the teaching. So Tattva bhavena or Brahma asmi iti uplabdhavya. So Tattva bhavena here should be translated as Brahma asmi iti uplabdhavya. So is to am is the journey. Is to am is the journey. And ubhayoho. Between these two methods of understanding or these two ways of grasping Brahman, which one should be in the beginning? Asti iti eva uplabdasya. So Brahman, Asti has to be grasped first. Asti only. And later on it becomes Tattva bhava prasidati. Only with regard to that Brahman, Tattva bhava is possible. So Tattva bhava we saw it means Brahma Asmi. Iti ekyam. This is the ekyam that has to be grasped. Prasidati. So from Paroksha Jnanam to Aparoksha Jnanam or from Shraddha to Aparoksha Jnanam, these are the two stages everyone has to go through. Therefore, the next preparatory discipline is this Aparoksha Jnanam, right? So before we go on to the next verse, I'll just maybe go into my own journey of some of the questions that came to my mind when we looked at this text in the first, because we see other systems also and we see their objections, right? So what is this mantra saying? We have seen that there are two aspects here when we examine anything: existence and knowledge of its true nature, right? Two aspects we have seen, which we call tattva here. So once it exists, once this it exists is firmly accepted, once it exists is firmly accepted, then the nature of it as the sole reality pervading all objects is revealed. So first it exists, then the sole reality pervading all objects, right? And what happens if you use only the first one? If you use only that existence part, first the sadhaka sees cause as existent and then negates the upadhis. And that is the process we'll follow. So we are seeing this, there is a cause, Brahman, as existent. And then we will negate all the upadhis or conditionings as to reveal its true nature. So because those upadhis are imagined by Maya creates those upadhis, no? So that cause we have to understand as the sole reality. We have to remove the conditionings. But now coming to the questions, like some different thought processes. So like Bodh, we saw in short earlier. They see it differently. How do they analyze? They say, whatever object I know, so I'm knowing an object, this is a book, I'm knowing that object. So apart from the knowledge of this book, where is the object? The object is not there. This knowledge is intimately connected to the object, right? Object is there, knowledge is there. Object is not there, knowledge is not there. Even when the object is gone, I can keep the knowledge, but other than the book and the knowledge, there is no separation. Object is inseparable from the knowledge. Until and unless the object appeared before me, the knowledge of it cannot be there. Therefore, they say that this object and knowledge are interconnected and one and the same only. And what is the next step there is? This knowledge gets destroyed moment to moment. They use the analogy of the flickering lamp. So just like a lamp is flickering, so every moment the flame is different. So the previous flame is destroyed, a new flame has come. So by that example, they say that just like this knowledge gets destroyed moment to moment. So they say that there is nothing real, there is nothing nitya, everything is shunya. So therefore, don't do any cheshta, or don't do any effort, don't do any karma, don't even think anything. They want to go to blankness. So whatever be the effort of the buddhi, the result is we see an object and decide this is how it is. Any object we see the object and we determine its nature. This is the nature of the object. Now they are saying that if the buddhi is merged, then there will be no knowledge of, there will be knowledge of nothing. Buddhi is merged, so now there is no object. So there is the knowledge of shunya, knowledge of nothing. So when like the pot jnanam was there earlier, then pot was there. Now no jnana is there, there is no object, so there is nothing. In this moment when the object is gone, the buddhi is also in the sense of nothingness. So therefore they say that there is no, in that state, there is no reality. There is no Brahman. They don't accept any Brahman. That is their conclusion. Or whatever is the object of the senses, we know that it is there. It is, we say, hai. It is existent. Whatever is not the object doesn't exist. And if they examine only existence, the Buddhists, when they examine only existence, they reach jada. They say this existence is there in the objects. Objects are jada. So therefore they make that existence also jada. Vedanta says no. Vedanta says no. This yoga is not purposeless. We say not anartha. Anartha nahi hai. Anartha doesn't mean wrong. Anartha means not without any purpose. Artha means purpose. Anartha means without purpose. So Vedanta says this yoga that we do by meditating on this existence, it has a purpose. Because, someone who is a sansari, he will always find a reason to stay as a sansari. Therefore, we have to move beyond that. So like there is a drishtant, there is a person who wants to be a sansari, so he eats fish. And then he says, when you eat the fish, there will always be these thorns there, kante. They will be always be there. But if you have to enjoy the taste of that fish, then once in a while, even if the thorn pricks you, you don't give up eating fish because the taste is more important. So negative person says that in this way, the world is much better. I want to stay in the world only. Even if there is the occasional dukkha, there is also the enjoyment. But he doesn't know yet the joy of Ananda is without any interruption. That is the interruptionless joy. So how do you know that Ananda? When you have negated all the instruments, when you have negated all the sadhans. So therefore, we in Vedanta say we have to reach for that objectless joy, which is infinite, and not this temporary joy, which will come and go. And in fact, even that temporary joy that we are thinking is something that will that we can say is equivalent to pain only, because once gone, it can never be re-experienced. Next, we come to the position of Dvaita, duality, the dualists. So what do the dualists say? They say that you can't experience Ananda when you yourself are Ananda. So what example they give for that? They give the example that like an ant cannot enjoy sugar. Ant can enjoy sugar. So an ant will be there, object is there, sugar, but sugar can't enjoy sugar. So this, they say that this yoga is not for us. So they say sugar cannot enjoy sugar. The biggest mistake that they make, what is that mistake? Their biggest mistake is sugar is inert. Sugar is inert, so it does not know its Ananda. Sugar is inert. Yes, Anita, you want to ask something?
Yes, sir. Sir, if sugar and ant and sugar are both the same, or no, sorry, sugar cannot experience sugar, which means it's kind of like singularity, not duality, no, sir? Could you explain that?
Yeah, so they want to stick to duality. They say that if Atma is Ananda Swarupa, then how can Atma enjoy itself? So Atma is not Ananda Swarupa. Atma is different. The objects of the world is different. So then only the Atma can enjoy. Just like an ant can enjoy sugar. Okay.
Okay, so okay,
ant
got
can
it.
enjoy sugar. So that is the reality for them. So they say that by Vedanta logic, there is only one Atma. So then sugar cannot enjoy sugar. Atma cannot enjoy itself. That is what they say. Sugar cannot enjoy sugar. So they say this Vedanta is not for us. This yoga is not for us. But what is the biggest mistake? That sugar is inert. Sugar is jada. So sugar cannot enjoy itself, obviously. That is right. But it doesn't, because it doesn't know its Ananda. But is Atma jada? Atma is not jada. Atma is not inert. So, because, do you know you are conscious? If I ask that question itself is redundant, silly. We all know we are conscious beings. So therefore, Ananda Rupa Paramatma doesn't know itself. That statement is illogical. It is false. So just like I know I am Chetana, therefore I can I enjoy my Anand Swarupam. So therefore, this yoga we say is not anartha or nirarthak. And its attainment, this attainment of this yoga, this knowledge, or its prapti, we say, is as one's own essence. I'm not attaining something outside of me. Huh. That will entail effort. For this, no effort is needed, just knowledge. Hmm. So when you say pot is destroyed or pot is broken, uh, according to what Buddhists say or the dualists say, that thing is gone. But actually, it is not gone. When the pot is destroyed, then the shape is lost, but the essence still remains. So if you break the pot, then you have the pot shards, the pot pieces, right? They are there. Then you can further grind it. No, I will totally destroy this pot. And then you can quickly, you can, powder it to dust. So it becomes Prithvi Tattva. Then we know the full process. We can merge the Prithvi into its cause, which is Jala, then Agni, then Vayu, then finally to Mana, Buddhi, and ultimately Prakriti. So therefore, ultimately the essence will remain. You cannot totally remove the law of conservation of matter, right? So nothing will go away totally. It will just change the form. So therefore, they are saying that the pot and the knowledge of the pot are so once you separate the pot, then the knowledge is also gone, or it goes to shunya. That is not logically correct. Okay? So any gross object is made subtle, something always remains. Non-existence will always be supported by existence. So you will always reach pure existence in the case of any object. So what is the position of Vedanta? We have to do meditation to move towards the cause. So the instrument for deciding whether a thing exists, what do we use for knowing that something exists? That is the buddhi, the intellect. The intellect experiences a thing as existing. The intellect knows that this is existing, or if it doesn't exist, then it doesn't exist. That will the intellect will know. Like we use the common example of the rope and the snake. So the rope is appearing like a snake. So both are perceptions. Intellect will decide which exists. So once it analyzes the snake is an illusion and cannot bite, then it decides that only the rope exists. So therefore it will, but till the illusion is there, it will think that the snake is existing. But finally, when we remove all the ignore all the wrong knowledges, we will know that the rope exists. So we will know that there is an existence, which is the substratum of everything. Nothing can exist without on a substratum of non-existence. So that is the cause of this world. That is the cause of this world, this existence. Like if we assume that nature abhors vacuum, we've heard that, no? Nature abhors vacuum. Then what came to fill that vacuum? If you are going to remove nature, what came to fill that vacuum? So that has to be an existence. There has to be a material cause. There has to be a material cause that is existent to produce something. That is the position of Vedanta. Like you cannot make something by destroying something or destroying other things. You cannot make a roti by destroying the objects in your kitchen. You have to have the material of the roti, which is the atta. Without that, you cannot create the roti. Without the material, so you cannot make any object by destroying things. So when we follow the process of merging effect into cause, finally, what will remain is pure existence that has to be there. But if you go the Buddhist way, we reach non-existence. So if we ask what if nothing remains, let us question that. If someone says that everything has come out from non-existence, so we ask the question that if nothing remains, then is that statement true or false? We have to ask the person that is this true or false, that statement, right? So now what will he answer? If he is a common person, if he is not very intelligent, he will say yes. He will say yes, nothing remains. Then he's trapped. He's trapped because he's contradicting himself. Who is answering this question? If nothing remains, you are there. right? So in here, what happened was this was asked to Bhagwan Buddha also, but he knew internally that the essence is something existent. So he didn't answer. He remained silent. Hmm. And his students, they inferred something opposite. They thought his silence meant that it does not exist. So therefore, what happens is if this person to whom the question has been asked, if he says it is true, then he has accepted the truth of abhava. He has accepted that there is emptiness. But now what I said was, he himself is a witness of that abhava. He himself is seeing that abhava as he is making the statement. So why I am going through all these? Because we have to be sure in our mind also. Because these doubts come to us also sometimes, right? So now if this person is saying that there is non-existence, then he has contradicted himself because he himself is there. So who is observing that non-existence? So कोई तो होगा देखने वाला ना. So we always have to make a statement that is logically coherent, right? If we say everything has come out from existence, there is then it is not logically sound. Like there is a story about Plato. So there a person came, he's trying to explain this very fact. So he's saying that a person came from Rome and he says all Romans are liars. सब झूठ बोलते हैं. So now if he's telling the truth, then he himself is a liar. खुद झूठ बोल रहा है. And therefore he's contradicting himself. So the only possibility is what? That all of them speak the truth and he is lying. So both ways, whatever he says, his statement is contradictory, right? So therefore, we have to have a statement that is logically synchronized. So then, therefore, what you have seen that if we are saying that there is nothing, sab shunya hai, that thought cannot be determined, because the one who is concluding that there is nothing is himself existent, or if he isn't, then he can't conclude. वो खुद भी नहीं है तो कौन conclude करेगा? If he is not there, who can conclude? So like they say that the seed gets destroyed as the tree is produced. So we say that the seed has the tree in the unmanifest state. It manifests the tree with the materials. तो बीज नष्ट नहीं होता, परिवर्तित हो जाता. It transforms into the tree with other materials. Otherwise, it will be a small tree. So it takes the soil and other materials. So therefore, existence will always remain and associated with consciousness. Always there is this association. And cause will always be more real than the effect. That we have to know. Cause will always be real. The effect cannot be there at some places. कभी हो सकता है ना, एक pot है, वो नहीं है. The pot is not there. But mud will always be there. Mud can make so many objects. But objects themselves, the different shapes, they might not be there. So cause will always be more real. Therefore, in Vedic system, if you understand the concept of astik and nastik, normally we think that astik and nastik means those who believe in God or those who don't believe in God. But if you heard from teachers, they will tell you that no, astik is one who believes in the Vedas. वेद को मानते हैं, और नास्तिक वो हो गए जो वेद को नहीं मानते. So those who don't accept the Veda, that is the Bauds, the Jains, the Charvaks, these three are the main, right? So that is the description used. But if you go a bit more deeper here, like according to this mantra, this astic nastic is decided as one who accepts a root cause of the world as Atma. वो आस्तिक है. The one who exists, one who understands that everything is coming from existence. That is nastic. Astik. And the Nastik is one who accepts it coming from nothing. शून्य से आ रहा. That is Nastik. Or who accepts this Jada Prakriti as the cause of everything. That is also Nastik. So, to explain this, even modern science, they don't accept this thing. They say that consciousness is an epiphenomenon of the brain. Brain में निकल के आती है. So we say that without consciousness, brain can't exist. अगर कॉन्शियसनेस ही नहीं होगी तो ब्रेन भी नहीं रहेगा. सो देयरफॉर द रूल इज उपाधि इज ड्यू टू चेतन. ब्रेन इज जस्ट उपाधि. उपाधि इज ड्यू टू द चेतन. यू कैन नेवर फाइंड उपाधि विदाउट चेतन. कैन यू फाइंड? You can never find, no. If consciousness is not there, you cannot find the upadhi also. So therefore, if something can't exist without another thing, then that is the material cause. एक वस्तु है, उसके दूसरी के बिना नहीं रहती है, इसका मतलब वो ही उसका मटेरियल कॉज है. सो इफ आत्मा इज देयर, देन ओनली एवरीथिंग इज देयर. That means this consciousness, whenever it is there, then only the object appears. That means that is the material cause. बिना चेतन के कुछ भी नहीं मिलता हमें. So therefore, if someone says that in any process कुछ भी हो रहा है, हम कर रहे हैं, like eating something, eating a मिठाई, so eating a मिठाई gave joy. So we say no, I am so joy came. The object didn't give me joy. So joy came from me, right? So that is what Vedanta says. So some say that there is nothing after that, no one has seen it. किसी ने देखा तो नहीं है, कैसे हो सकता है? So, but when after destroying something, we see that it remains. There is always some essence remaining. So we saw that, no, we took the whole process in detail. So, but whenever something goes away, its form goes away, but the essence remains. That is why they do some people do this meditation on emptiness. So it is a very nice practice actually. We're nothing against this practice of meditating on empty. It gives us peace. शांति मिलती है ना, एकदम सब कुछ हटा दिया. But this is temporary. The moment we come out of that, again the world will start to trouble us. So unless we know the essence of the world, unless we know that my own true nature, this peace will always be temporary. So to establish that, we use both methods. We called it uha poha in Hindi or in Sanskrit also. So, uha means how it exists, that we have to establish, pakshaha. And how it can't exist, vipakshaha, that is poha, the reverse. And then we conclude. So we use all the methods of positive and negative form, and then after that firm decision is reached, that cause is there in the form of existence. And further, even if the effect is not there, the cause is still there. I am. I am. This I am remains even after the mind and the intellect stop working. So the whole world comes from Paramatma. It is what we call the Abhinna Nimitta Upadan Karan. Abhinna Nimitta. It is the Nimitta Karan also and the Upadan Karan also. But together, Abhin, non-separate. And nothing can exist without it. So like we see the gold in all the ornaments, or we see the mud in all the pots. So there is no ornament but gold only. Or the reality is gold only. So nothing can come out of non-existence, and from existence, non-existence also cannot come out. From non-existence also cannot come out from existence. So Paramatma is thus therefore without any upadhi or linga. If you have to reach for Paramatma, I have to reach for the one who is beyond any upadhi, or beyond any linga. Ling means indication. So this Atma should be known to me in the form of self-illuminated. It is not something that can be illuminated from outside. इसको बाहर से देख सकते हैं. And it is also never non-illuminated. It is never not known, this Atma. Its own nature is of self-illumination. It is self-illuminatory. Like you can say a bulb. A bulb is, you cannot say the bulb is illuminated. I cannot shine a light onto the bulb to see it. And you can also not say it is non-illuminated, that it cannot be known. So it is self-illumination. So after watching the world and meditating about it, we perceive it as existence. We perceive this world as existence. We see the example of this in the dream also. In this dream experience, we see ourselves both as nimitta and upadan karan. I am the nimitta, efficient cause, and I am the upadan karan. Everything that I see in the dream is me only. You have become everything. Right? So that is why we say the world is the dream of the Lord. After waking up, there is no dream, but still I remain the same. So it is not that when I am not making the dream that I don't exist. So I am free of the upadhi called dream. Same way, Paramatma is also free of this, what we call the Karya Karan Bhava. Paramatma is free of all the upadhis. So in both these cases, the one who experiences the Brahman without upadhi, with upadhi and without upadhi are the same. The person who is perceiving Brahman as this Saguna and the person who is perceiving as Nirguna, both are same only. So why is it necessary to experience Nirgun Brahman? Why is it necessary to experience Brahman without any upadhi, we have this doubt. We have this doubt. I am seeing the gold. I am seeing the gold as ornament. Then I am seeing both of them together. Then what is the need to see it as just gold? What is the need to see it as just the gold? So this we see in the next verse. I'll not go into this full one today, but uh, we'll just read through it. यदा सर्वे प्रमुच्यन्ते कामा येस्य हृदि श्रिताः अथ मृत्यो मृतो भवति अत्र ब्रह्म समुष्णुते यद यदा सर्वे प्रमुच्यन्ते कामा येस्य हृदि श्रिता अथ मृत्यो मृतो भवति अत्र ब्रह्म समुष्णुते. So yada sarve pramuchyante. So when all the desires have been released from the mind, yada sarve pramuchyante, from the mind or the intellect, when all the desires have been given up completely. Kama ye asya hridi shritaha, all the desires that dwell in this heart. Athaha martyaha amrita bhavati, then only the mortal becomes immortal. Atra Brahma Samushnate. So, this person attains Brahman even while here, Atra, even while living. So, that is how he is perceiving. So, in order to achieve that vision of Brahman as immortal and nirgunaha, that we have to remove all our desires. So this is the answer giving here. So as long as you see Brahman with upadhi, till then your attraction will always be towards upadhi. So as long as you are seeing Saguna Brahman, you are seeing him as the forms of the world. Whenever you are seeing a form, that is upadhi, your attraction will be towards upadhi. So you are seeing Brahman in everything, that is fine, but still attention is towards upadhi. So the desire for object doesn't end. It may be restricted, but it won't end. Because whenever you see any objects, it is with upadhi. So you will be attracted to the one with upadhi of cause effect and not to Brahman without cause effect. Upadhi vision will always remain. So how can that be remained? One that will be only for the person who has the Paramatma Darshan as Nirvishay or Nirupadhi. That person will have no desire. He have no desire. His heart will be clean. So that is the vision we have to aspire for, where all the desires have gone away. Then only the Nirupadik Brahman, the Nirguna Brahman can be perceived. So this is what we will be always striving for. So we'll look more at this verse in the next class. For now, time is up. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.